The title reads, I feel unattracted to my husband who earns less than me. Look, as a guy who now knows all this information, it kind of sucks knowing how important it is for a man to earn more money than the woman he's dating or in a relationship with. Women are unfortunately repulsed by men who do not earn as much as them. Like a woman wants to be cared for, financially, physically, emotionally, and yeah, the finance one is a big thing. It doesn't make a woman bad for wanting that. It's just how it is, just how the game is. So kind of sucks because currently I'm in, you know, a job that I earn decent money for. Certainly the best paying job I've ever had, but I wouldn't say I particularly enjoy it, and I don't want that job for the rest of my life. And I'm always, yearning and fantasizing about, a lower paid job where I'm a bit more relaxed. I can maybe be more out in nature, not have the stress of KPIs and business reports and higher management, but I'd have to take a pay cut for that. And me personally, I wouldn't mind taking the pay cut. I wouldn't mind taking the pay cut, but when you know that, you as a man, your value as a man is around how much money you make, and women do care about that, it's tough for me to swallow that pill and to take a pay cut just to be a bit more happy in life. When really, if I was a bachelor for the rest of my life, I guess I could probably take that pay cut and be happy. Rent a small flat and just, live payment to payment, and I might be all right. But when it comes to women and what they want, unfortunately, they want a man who's going to earn more than them. So taking that job that you just enjoy over what makes you the most money, that's always a difficult decision for a man who wants to be in a long-term relationship with a happy, well, possibly a happy wife. Let's read the post. So it may sound very politically incorrect, and I do not base the value of any man on his earnings. Well, obviously that's not the case because you wrote this post. Although I don't know if it is biological or some deeper issue. It is biological. You want a man who can support you. You want him to be that masculine presence, and you don't feel that because you have that masculine energy because you're earning more than him. I'm a 32-year-old female and the first generation of working women in my family, and am successfully a professional. So when she says professional, she could be a doctor, she could be earning 100k plus. Most men aren't going to earn 100k plus in their lifetime, so you're already cutting off a lot of possible dating opportunities. You're 32 years old, so you're getting a bit older, especially if you want to have kids, and then you're earning a very high end job, high end wages. So you're really reducing the bracket of men you can date. But you have a husband, so obviously that was no issue previously, but now it might be an issue if you do want to get back into the dating world if you are going to divorce your husband over this. My husband is 35 and very confident, charismatic, and well behaved individual. So what's the issue? Why do you care so much about how much he earns? Especially if you're earning the money and you're both comfortable, if you put your money together, it shouldn't matter. Yeah, you wanted to be a professional, you wanted to be independent and earn your own money and not rely on a man's money, which is completely valid. So why do you care about how much he's earning? It's very annoying for us men that this is the case, but women want it all, especially this woman. He earns around half of what I do. So yeah, that is quite a big difference. It's not like it's 5, 10k. He earns half. Now, if she's successful and she's earning 100k and he's earning 50k, 50k is still a very good wage. And if you put that together, you two are going to be, you know, live a very comfortable life. But she doesn't want that. She doesn't want to split her 100k. In her mind, 100k is her money. 50k is half of his money. You know what I mean? So it's not really a partnership here. Even though they're married, it doesn't sound like a partnership. Maybe it's my conditioning and having seen the men in my family always pay, but whenever I have to pay for him, it completely kills the attraction that I feel towards him. So not once has she said she finds him physically attractive. I feel like she would have had that in the list of things she said about him. He says he's very confident, charismatic, and well behaved individual. Well behaved means he's never going to step out on me because he doesn't have the attraction and he's completely smitten with me. So she doesn't have that dread about him possibly walking out on the marriage and finding another younger, more beautiful woman. She doesn't have that dread. So that means less attraction for him. But yeah, if he was very attractive, tennis coach, earning half the money that she did, maybe she'd be a bit more happy with her selection as a husband. But she probably just not only repulses him because of the financial things. I'm sure there's other things that repulses her, but she just doesn't want to put that on the internet because she doesn't want to be viewed as a bad person. Maybe he's let himself go a little bit. She says that yeah, maybe it's the conditioning that she's seen that men in her family always pay. So yeah, she's grown up with that, but she chose to go down that masculine route of having a high-end paid career. So she's only got um, herself to blame in that regards. But also, it shouldn't just your attraction to him shouldn't be killed if you pay for him. Like you should want to support him. If you love your husband, you should be like, hey, yeah, I'll buy this food or I'll buy this week's shop. Like you should want to support him. I earn a bit more than my current girlfriend, but she's always willing to, pay for the shopping. We take turns. She pays for the shopping this week. I pay for the shopping next week. If I, bought breakfast, she'd offer to pay for lunch, and she'll fight me over the card reader, and she'll make sure that she pays. And I find that very attractive, and she wants to support me because she knows I support her. You know, I don't want to say 50-50, but in some ways it is 50-50 now. I try and do 60-40, 70-30, but I let her pay for some things because I don't know, it makes me feel good as well. I like to be the provider in some ways, but also it makes me feel good when she looks after me as well. This woman is repulsed by it. Why is that? It's probably because he's probably just not very attractive in general. Couple the fact that he doesn't get me gifts or flowers or food items, etc. Okay, this is different now. So he never treats her. He's just kind of using her for her money. He never treats her, never gets her flowers, never surprises her with a gift here and there, never surprises her with a fun date. This guy, it seems like he's just kind of given up and he's thinking, oh, I'm married now to this woman. I don't need to do anything else. So now I have a bit more sympathy to the woman. Now I have this information. This guy's obviously maybe not doing enough. You know, he's not giving back to her like she gives to him. Without me having to remind him to get them. Okay, so this guy kind of needs to be a bit babied at points. At the beginning, 1.5 years ago, oh my god, so they got married really quickly, right? So they've been dating for 1.5 years and now they're getting married. So they kind of maybe rushed into this. Maybe they hit that 30-year-old age range and they thought, oh my god, we need to quickly settle down and do the whole kids thing and get married. Never rush marriage, guys, never rush marriage. It wasn't an issue. Now I'm losing attraction for him. See, when it comes to losing attraction, it is steady over time. So he's probably done things over a long period that has just slowly made her start disliking this man, being feeling repulsed by this man. It wasn't an overnight thing. This guy's been in a steady decline, and her attraction to him has been in a steady decline too. Also, not wanting to sleep with him. Yeah, again, this is the attraction thing. He's probably a fat sloth. Let's be honest, guys. I'm just trying to feel attracted to him again, but I just don't feel taken care of by him. That's so clear. Like a woman wants to be taken care of, and us as guys, we want to look after our woman. So what's wrong with this guy? Is he, you know, got low testosterone? Is he just, not feeling active and fit? Is he just, eating Doritos and playing video games all day? Like, is he becoming too feminized? Like, bro, you're a man. Act like a man and look after your woman. I'm not saying you've got to pay for everything. I'm not saying you have to earn more than her, but look after her, bro. Hit the gym, be her security, take her on dates, make sure you drive the car and she's in the passenger seat. Just these little things. You're masculizing your woman, and she's repulsed by that. She doesn't want to be always masculine. She's probably masculine in her 9 to 5 job. She wants to come back and be submissive and be very feminine to you. But for her, she's working in a masculine field and she's coming back and being in a masculine role as well. So she just can't get away from it. I'm just trying to feel attracted to him again, but I just don't feel taken care of by him when he doesn't spend anything. I resent him a little every time I have to pay the bills. What can I do? I need advice. People in similar situations, please help. I think it's more than just a financial situation. I think she's just using that as an excuse. But yeah, I don't think this guy's, doing his role as a man. Take away the finance side of things, I think he's kind of getting into a bit of a hole, getting too lazy, getting too comfortable with her. Because if he was back out in the dating world, he'd have to work on himself to get a date. If he wants to get a nice, young, fit, feminine woman, he'd have to do a lot of work. But he's not doing the work on his marriage. So if this does fail, if she does divorce him, he's going to be even worse off. Yeah, he might get half of her money, but physically and you know his status as a man is it's not going to get him any favors with women, and you're about to lose your wife. That's not a good look. So she has some things to work on. Um, she also needs to be open and honest. This isn't just about him not paying bills. It's something much deeper than this. But I will say, I think the guy needs to step up here, because if he doesn't step up, he'll be next in line for the divorce. Anyway, that's all, guys. Cheers. See ya.